What's going on, guys? What's cracking? Second time, decided to trim the beard off because it's just getting too much. Summertime now, getting hot, baby. Hot boy summer. God, that was lame. Never mind. Forget I just said that. Anyways, so today we're going to go over a couple things, guys. We're going to work on the wife's car, give you a little bit of update on my Supra, and I've got some new parts, and this means a lot to me. So Fluidampr was kind enough to send out these parts, guys. So here's my original Fluidampr. If you guys don't know, I'm pretty much a massive advocate, pretty much for the fact that it is a lifetime damper. So this is a crank damper that should, in theory, last forever. It uses a viscous fluid, blah, 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 blah. And the reason I'm not going into detail right now is for the fact that I have a video for you guys. If I haven't already released it already, I will be, that goes over the details of this and the company Fluidampr. I've been using this product, like I said, for about 10 years now. This is the original one, and there's nothing wrong with it. Actually, the only thing it has is the back of it's all messed up, which doesn't really hurt it, and it's just rub marks and actually some of it's plastic. That the plastic cover that goes around and attached to the engine, once it gets oil in it, so it was the original one that had got soaked with oil, I tried to clean it off, paint it, didn't work. It like swells and then it rubbed against this. You can see I'm literally peeling pieces of the plastic still off. So it rubbed the paint off the back, but you can see everything else that was stamped in it. It's completely fine. They were kind enough to send me their newest version. Now right off the bat, you'll see it's a little bit different, but the same technology. So the only thing that's really different now is they have a unboltable, what do I want to say that is? Wheel? What do you want to call that? Unboltable pulley. So the pulley actually comes off of this now. And the reason for that is, and I think this is more for the guys using it for an OEM aspect. So a lot of the diesel guys that run these for, 500, a million miles, right? You get a rock up in here and it bends one of those. So I think actually on mine, and I never really noticed it till I took it off right here. So if you can see here, I must have did something there, and it never chewed up belts or caused me any problems, but something must have got in there and chewed it up. Now again, my car saw, probably 30,000 miles or so with that on it, so not a lot. When you're talking to diesel guys that are putting 500,000 miles on it, you chew this up, then it just starts chewing belts, you gotta replace the damper. And it's not a big deal because these aren't a ton of money, but it's like, well, instead of chasing the damper, trying to pull it off the crank snout and all that stuff, how about you just unbolt this piece, replace it with another aluminum one, and done. A lot cheaper, a lot easier to maintenance, so on and so forth. Great update from Fluidampr for that. Again, made in the USA, SFI rated, got the paperwork here. Thank you, Fluidampr. I'm going to do another video showing a comparison to how you get this on. Another thing I like, you don't have to machine the snout on these unlike another company. It's again, I'm a huge fan of this product. I really, really like it. So yeah, check them out down below, guys. I plan on doing some testing with this. Again, hoping to make around 1,200 horsepower with this car. So I want to see if there's any difference. Again, there should be actually a slight power gain by using a Fluidampr. They actually did some testing with, I believe, an EJ engine, stock car, just by swapping out the damper. They saw like a 15 horsepower gain. Pretty amazing. So cool stuff right there in itself. But what I'm doing right now is I'm about to hook up to the wife's car. So John, JK Tuning, has sent me a new flat shift tune. So what is this? Actually, I talked to Nick over at HALTECH about this a while ago. And a gentleman over at G-Force helped me too in Australia. And I could never get it to work right, so we're gonna give this a try. It's in between shifts. It's supposed to cut ignition and help it shift faster. We have a stock transmission, trying to get this bad boy to shift and not blow up. So that's the goal, but I'm almost scared to test it because I need the car to get to cruise week. Once it gets through cruise week, I'll be okay, but right now I'm almost scared to do this because I don't want to cause any problems. Right now it's been driving fine, but yeah, don't want it to have a problem. But I'm gonna go ahead and upload this tune. Hopefully it doesn't change anything, take it around the block, make sure it's a-okay, and then one day I'm gonna give it a floor it here. Maybe I'll even take you guys along and see if it works. So some of the cool stuff with HALTECH is this too. So one thing is I don't have to have the key in the car. That's one thing. But the other thing is this, when you import your calibration, I'll just go back to it. So import upload, go back to my desktop, click the file. That's the one I wanna upload. And I'll show you guys this, and it's gonna be like on the screen right now, but you don't have to import everything. So when you do a file upload, you can decide what you want to bring in. Now it stinks because I'm uploading something I already had, but it'll make in white what you're going to upload. So if it say right now we're making transmission changes, this was highlighted in white. And what you can do is click the little arrow here and drop down, and it'll show you the next what are you changing in the white area. And I think it had lighted up transmission control, then which said that shift settings were changed, flat shift was enabled, and a few other settings were changed. What you can do is, I can either import everything here. I can just click on it all, import it all by hitting over here and selecting upload all. Or if someone sends me a file and they're like, hey, take this from my file, like someone sends you their file, right? You can literally say like, from your file, I want to bring in your RPM shift point and your shift point load. And I can click those things, so I can go, actually, I'll do this here. Import and shift. shift point, right? I can do that and then select import over here. So here I can select import then, and it'll just bring in that information into the ECU, which I think is really freaking cool. So when some does an update and stuff, like John sent me an update here, it just makes it easy. I'm gonna go ahead and select cancel because I've got my information in here already, so I don't need to do anything. But he did upload the flat shift. So go here. He got cut percentage, ignition retard, torque reduction, recovery time, so on and so forth. He did make some transmission control changes too. So not a ton, but enough that, yeah, we should see some difference here. So hopefully everything goes all right. I hate making changes. I hate doing this stuff. So you can see here, transmission shift point table for first to second down to 5600 now too, to hopefully make this a little bit better. So we'll see how this goes, guys. I'm gonna try and show you this to the best of my abilities here, guys. So this is the trans sensor playback table inside the HALTECH. So I just took it out for a spin there, didn't quite shift the way I wanted to. And again, we're gonna have to play with this, and I'm trying to figure out what to do here. So my idea is I don't want the flat shift ignition cut happening down below a certain RPM, right? You need to retard timing within certain abilities, right? What I mean by that is you want to retard timing in between shifts so the car shifts better. But this flat shift tuning, it is almost like a fart tune, right? Where it cuts ignition and makes a burp, burp, like that noise, like a fart noise. I don't like that. So what my goal is to help trying this out is I thought what we could do is, and I'm now looking at a table we can, is say below 75 or 80% throttle percentage, I want the car to cut ignition. Cut it, or, you know, retard ignition, I should say, to help shifts, right, when you're at full boost. But below that, let's turn the flat shift tuning off. I want to let the regular ignition tables and all that stuff work. Keep it the way it's been working for the last, 6-7 months or so, because the car drove great, sounded great, didn't have that fart sound in between shifts. I only need it when it's truly like hammered out. When I'm like, above 80%, which means I'm more than likely at around 100%, flooring it to the ground, cut those, make those fart noises, so on and so forth. If I can, I'll insert what it should sound like when it's all said and done. When you're at low speeds, it doesn't sound like this. It sounds like brr, brr, brr. It just sounds like crap. I'm not happy. So, and also right now it's just not shifting in time. So right here, if we look, so if we take a look here, you can see it's retarding timing and then putting it in before the shift ends. And so it's kind of not even working in this way it's supposed to. Again, we just need to play with it to figure it out. But I kind of want to talk to my tuner and like sit down with them and kind of say like, what do you want to do here? What do you think we should do to get this hammered out? So just kind of sit down with them and talk to them about it. Again, so we'll show this here. The yellow line here is the converter lock state. So it'll tell you unlocked and locked. So it'll say here, should shifting gear, minimum gear. Then it'll say throttle position below minimum, which it means it's at its minimum. I don't know why, because I guess the TPS is slightly off. So minimum gear, that means it's in gear. So it's in first. And then right there, it starts to shift. The problem is once it gets to right here, it's done with the ignition, but it hasn't finished because the yellow line, and then minimum gear, it's back into second gear then. So that's all I need to look into and try and fix.
Well, unfortunately for me, Mother Nature has said it's going to rain, and it's nice out right now, but the roads are wet. So it doesn't do very much good to floor the car on wet roads. Could drive on wet roads, but can't floor it. So I want to get out and do a little bit more testing. I was hoping to do some more here. Again, trying to adjust it at the end. I talked to Nick Sisowitz over at HALTECH, and he's been helping me a ton, along with John Kerr too here. Trying to just get down. Is any of this stuff really necessary for what the car and what we're using it for? No, because it really needs, honestly, if you saw in that video, it needs a shift kit of some sort. It needs a transmission built. Probably needs a second gear sprag replaced. It'll cost money and just not there yet. I don't feel like taking the car back apart. I've got one that doesn't run. That one I want to run a little bit, so I'm not trying to beat on it too much. Also, something else that needs to get done here shortly. This here is a 410 rear gear. I'm gonna take out mine. I wanna try this just because it's a little bit shorter. So I'm not sure if I wanna do it yet because I'm gonna make more power. I might not like this, but I think this is what I want. I think. Not 100% sure, but I wanted to go ahead and get it. My buddy Ryan Burdett out in Colorado sent it over to me. This is a real Ford gear too. I talking to Jay over at Real Street. He's like, when it comes to the 8.8s and 9s, he's like, as long as you buy an actual Ford gear, don't buy one of the aftermarket ones from Summit or whatever. He said the whine and noise is down to a minimum. So Buying it directly from Ford, he said that's the one you want. Ryan already had one. He took it out of his car. He barely used it, didn't like it. We were actually going to swap differentials. That's right. We were going to actually swap our diffs, but unfortunately, he did not have the cast iron diff I have, and I like to keep that because it's stronger. It's a T-Bird case, so it's just supposed to be a lot stronger. Not a lot, let me say. It should be able to hold like probably another 150 to 200 foot-pounds of torque before they could possibly have issues. I'm not saying I'll be there, but if I have it, kind of don't want to lose that. Other thing I need to do is get the OS Geiken LSD into my wife's car. That is still an open diff, and the reason I left it that way is because I didn't want to put this in and then have issues or clunking and then blame it on the OS Geiken or something. I wanted to make sure it was okay. Drives great, smooth. So I want to go ahead and get the LSD in it next. The rear gasket seal is leaking anyways. I put FIPG on it, which didn't ever thought about it, but FIPG is not rated for that fluid. The gear oil soap just chews it up. So it's leaking already. Not a big deal, not leaking much. Like I can just see it starting to seep almost. So when I take it off, drain it out, put the OS Geiken in, get the expensive ass fluid in it. I'm lucky I have half of it up there, so I need to buy one pail this time because that stuff is, I mean, stupid, absolutely stupid expensive. It's annoying how expensive that stuff is. So we'll get that out, get it into the car, and hopefully her car will have LSD, and then I'll have a little bit better gearing. Again, I'm not sure. Maybe you guys can give me some insight. Am I being stupid here? Going T56 mag, going from a 373 down to a 410. I feel like that's better for a street car, but maybe not so much for drag racing or maybe roll racing. After watching TX2K here, roll racing has me scared too. I saw so many wrecks, and again, I think it's guys being inexperienced. Not saying that I am experienced, but yeah. Want some opinions? I want some input down below, guys. Thank you guys very much, and I'll keep you guys tuned in. Later.